وصحبه ومن والاه، أما بعد. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم، ولا سهل لنا إلا ما سهلته لنا إنك أنت يا ربنا جواد كريم. وبعد نكمل مسائل وأحكام ذي الحجة وأيضا الأضحية وعيد الأضحى. فنفتح باب الأسئلة. We open the question and brothers or sisters want to ask. بسم الله. نبدأ من اليمين إن شاء الله، أو لا من الشمال. اليوم every day start يمين. today إن شاء الله start شمال. نسأل الله جل والله يجعلنا أهل يمين. تفضل. السلام.
أحكام تقطع الظرف والرأس.
نعم، العلماء قالوا من يريد أن يذبح الأضحية لله عز وجل فإنه لا يأخذ من شعره ولا من أظفاره حتى وإن طالت، لا يأخذ منها. بعضهم قال على الكراهة وبعضهم قال على التحريم، لكنهم كلهم متفقين على عدم إزالة الشعر أو الظفر. لو أن إنسانا كسر أظفره أو احتاج أن يصلح من شعره لحاجة نزلت به جاز ذلك، أما بدون الحاجة فلا يجوز. من الذي يمتنع عن إزالة الظفر والشعر؟ الذي يريد أن يضحي في البيت. مثلا الأب هو الذي سيضحي، هو الأم هي، وهكذا. تفضل.
So the question is regarding taking off the nails and the hair during this 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. What's the ruling? The Sheikh is explaining to us, he's telling us that there is some difference of opinion, but even the difference of opinion is regarding, is it makruh, is it disliked, or is it haram? That's the difference of opinion regarding. It's not about whether it's allowed or not. So definitely it is, we have a very clear hadith about this that talks about prohibition or discouragement of cutting off the nails and the hair within these 10 days. Now, some scholars, they have allowed only for the need. What do we mean by the need? If someone has their nail broken up, for example, and they need to remove it for a reason, for example, it's going to be sharp on one end, or it's getting stuck and maybe there is a fear of it getting removed by itself. Whatever the need is, for the need, the scholars have allowed that he can, to fix this problem that he has with the nail, he can remove it, or same goes for the hair. But as for removing without the need, the Shaykh is telling us that it is not allowed and we should not be doing it. And who is this ruling for? It is for the people that are performing the udhiyah. And the primary person that is going to be, for example, paying for this, or is primarily responsible for this sacrifice. Example, if the father is the one who's going to be sacrificing the animal, or primarily be responsible for sacrificing the animal, then he must not remove. And if the mother is doing that, then she must not. So depending on the household, whoever is the primary person in charge of the sacrifice, they are the ones not to remove the hair or the nail.
تمام. طيب, another question. بسم الله. Come close. Volume up. Good question. السنة أن تذبح بنفسك إذا كنت تعرف. إذا أنت تعرف، السنة أن تذبح بنفسك، لأن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ذبح بنفسه. طب إذا أنت لا تعرف أو لا تستطيع، يجوز لك أن توكل من يذبح. وفي هذا الباب مسألة جيدة. هل يجوز ذبح النساء؟ يعني نوع ذبح النساء تحط المرأة وتذبحها؟ لا. يعني هل يجوز المرأة أن تذبح؟ نعم، يجوز المرأة أن تذبح. ليس هي يعني تقوم بالذبح. فهمت؟ يعني لا يجوز ذبح المرأة، لا يجوز ذبح المرأة. ما معنى ذبح المرأة؟ أن تأتي هي على الشاة وتقطع، يجوز، وتؤكل ذبيحتها، ما في بأس إن شاء الله. فهمت؟
نعم. لكن سؤال وشيخي،
هذا ليس سؤاله؟
لا،
ويسأل
حوله يسأل أن لو لا تذبح بنفسه أو لا يذبح بنفسه، حتى لو لا تقطع الظفر والشعر.
نعم، حتى لو لا يذبح بنفسه. نعم.
So the question of the brother was, the Shaykh has given us another benefit here, But the question was whether if the person is not slaughtering on his own, rather he's going to be paying money and someone else is doing it for him under his name, but he's not the one who's sacrificing. Even then, should he not cut his nails and hair? The answer is, the Shaykh is saying yes. Even if you're not doing by yourself, the fact that you are going to be responsible for that sacrifice, you're paying for it.
So Abu Hussein, this is the brother Abu Hussein. All know Abu Hussein. Tomorrow he go to the hospital. He make soldier. Make dua for him, please. Make dua for him. صلى شفاء العاجل.
Amin. So even if you're not doing it, then still you remain, you restrain from cutting the nails and the hair. Yes, so the Shaykh did mention that the sunnah, what's the best way to do it? The sunnah is that you cut yourself, you go and you do the sacrifice yourself. That's the sunnah. However, if someone wants to give the money and let someone else do the sacrifice, the act of sacrifice, then he can, that is also allowed. Another follow-up question would be, if that is the sunnah, is it allowed for a woman to slaughter or to sacrifice with her own hands? The answer is yes, it is allowed even for a woman to sacrifice.
والله تعالى. طيب, any question?
طبعا بشروط شيخي.
ايش شروط؟
يعني ألا يختلط مع الرجال.
لا طبعا مسألة.
أنت رأيت
يعني دائما يعني المسألة الشرعية يعني تقدر بضوابطها. المرأة تذبح في بيتها مش قدام الناس. يعني
هذا الذي يحصل.
إذا كانت لابسة خمار.
لأن الناس فاهمون غلط المسألة.
يعني تشتغل هي لحام. لا يجوز أيضا إذا كان هناك يعني ضوابط شرعية يجوز.
So I was just asking Sheikh to elaborate on this point. The woman, of course, she's allowed to do the sacrifice, but of course the Sheikh is mentioning any ruling that is given that will come within the restrictions of Islam, the conditions that the Islam has placed. So generally speaking, the Sheikh meant, or he's saying that he's talking about when a woman is doing it at her home, for example, within the environment that befits this action to be done without causing the fitna. So he's not talking about going up and mixing up with the other men and doing this.
طيب, any question here? Bismillah. بس volume up or come.
Okay. What is the ruling for Utiya for if someone has loan, like small loan, not the big loan, like short amount, like say.
إذا كان عليه دين.
Good question. أنا أجبت هذا السؤال.
نعم.
أنا قلت إذا الدين حال تعطي، وإذا الدين مؤجل تضحي. الأفضل إذا الدين حال تسد الدين، وإذا الدين مؤجل لا تضحي. مسألة ثانية، إذا الدين قليل وأنت معك فلوس في البنك يهاف ضحي. أو إذا الدين يعني أنت لا تتضايق إذا أنت سديت الدين وبقي معك فلوس، ليس كثير بس أنت لا تتضايق. السنة أن تفعل. عرفت؟ ثلاث حالات مهمة. تفضل.
So the question, again, the Sheikh did answer this 2 days ago, I believe. The question is, if someone has a loan, a debt on him, what is the ruling of sacrifice? The answer the Sheikh is giving, again, he is telling us that the loan is of different types. A loan that is a delayed loan, meaning you have to pay back after 1 year, for example. In this case, you are not paying right now, so inshallah, if you have the money for the animal, buy the animal, and inshallah, when the time for loan comes, you will repay the loan at that time. But for now, you can. The sunnah is that you do the udhiyah, the sacrifice. Another type of loan is something that is coming up right away, like you have to pay this month, for example, or you have to pay in the coming week, which is coinciding with your the sacrifice. So you can either pay the loan, which you have to, you cannot delay that. So it is on that month, you have to pay it, or so you only have money enough for that, or you pay for the qurban, for the udhiyah, the sacrifice. The answer to this is, then in that case, you pay the loan, and that would be, it is allowed for you to not do the sacrifice. The third case is you have enough money to pay back the loan, but after paying back the loan, you will only have a little bit of money left, which if you were to spend in buying the animal for sacrifice, you would still be able to go by the month without suffocating yourself or without making your life too difficult. And in that case, do it, even if it means that you won't have anything. And after your expenses, there is nothing left for you. Then go for it, because it is a very it's a very encouraged action and emphasized action to do.
كيف توزع الأضحية؟ سؤال مهم في الصباح سئلنا هذا السؤال. الجواب: السنة أن تقسم قسم في البيت، وقسم للأقارب، وقسم للفقراء والأصدقاء. هذا الأفضل. هل يوجد دليل؟ لا يوجد دليل. طب لو أن الإنسان قسمها قسمين، قسم للبيت وقسم للناس بشكل عام، ما في أقارب، مثل هنا أنا ليس لي أقارب، هنا للأصدقاء، ممتاز. إنسان قال أنا أريد كلها أضعها عندي في البيت، نقول يجوز، لكن الأفضل أن تخرج منها ولو كمية قليلة، الأفضل. لكن لو أخفيتها كلها في الثلاجة جائز، لأن إطعامك لأهلك صدقة، والنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال أغنوهم، يعني الأهل، أو كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: ووسعوا على أنفسكم وعلى عيالكم، أو كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. فالسنة كما قلنا هذا الأكمل، أن توزع. لو إنسان وزعها كاملة يجوز ولم يأكل منها إلا شيء. بعض العلماء قالوا يجب أن يأكل منها، قالوا يجب فكلوا منها وأطعموا القانع والمعتر، فكلوا منها وأطعموا البائس الفقير في آية أخرى. فهنا فكلوا، هل هي للأمر؟ الصحيح لا، هي للاستحباب وللندب، وإن كان هناك بعض العلماء قالوا هي للأمر، لكن الذي يظهر عند مشايخي ليست للأمر. فهمت؟ بسم الله.
Another, just a question someone asked in the morning. How do you distribute the meat of the udhiyah? When you've done the sacrifice and you receive the meat, what do you, is there a way to distribute it, or to basically categorize this meat, or you can use as you want? The answer to this is, it is among the scholars, it is sunnah that you divide the meat into 3 parts, and you eat from it, meaning you and your family at your home, and you give it to your relatives and friends. And the third category is to give it to the needy and the poor people. This is how the scholars have mentioned. Now, is there a specific evidence to tell us exactly this? No, but this is the agreement between the scholars, that they say that it's a meat that is getting to you. You divide it into 3 portions, so you eat from it, and you keep whatever you want, and also you give it to the family, and you pass it on to the poor, needy people, so everyone's benefiting from it. However, if someone says, for example, someone is here, he doesn't have any relatives, so he eats and he gives it to the friends, for example, that's also fine. If someone says, I don't want to give it anything to anyone, I want to keep everything for myself, and I want to freeze it, and I want to use it for a long time, is that allowed? From the perspective of permissibility, yes, it is allowed. You can do that, inshallah, especially because we know that feeding your family is also part of, it's like a charity, it's like a good action that you're doing, so it's like a sadaqah. So of course, even if you keep it and feed your family with it, that would also be allowed from the permissibility aspect. However, the best way to do it, as the Shaykh mentioned earlier, is saying to divide it and to eat from it and to give it to other people, and to give the poor and the relatives. However, he mentioned a very important point, which is some scholars do put a condition. They say that you must eat from it. So, and other scholars, they say you can give it all up. So you can cut and give it everything to people without eating anything from it. That's also allowed according to some scholars. Some scholars, however, says that no, you have to eat, even if it's a little bit amount. You must eat, because they are going by the ayah that is talking about ayah or hadith, ayah that talks about this ruling and says that you eat. Now, this eat, is it a command or is it a recommendation? That's where the difference of opinion is. The people that look at it as a recommendation, they say you're allowed to give away everything or keep everything. So the Shaykh is saying, according to the teachers he learned from, he prefers, or the teachers preferred the view that it is recommended, but it's not an obligation to eat from it.
تفضل يا شيخ. واحدة، أضحية واحدة، 3 بيت، وكل بيت يوجد فيه أولاد، أضحية واحدة عنهم كلهم، والأكمل 3، 10 كمان كويس، بس واحد إنف. لا واحدة لا بأس. هذا الدكتور غفر الله له. ويت يا خلوه ترجم ويت
لا
خلوه
يحتاج
ترجم.
شيخي.
خلاص ما عليه ترجم للمساكين.
Sheikh, you put me in trouble now, Sheikh.
Somebody have 3 wives.
So the question is, if someone has 3 households, you understand the household for us, huh? If someone has 3 wives and is he allowed, like how does he do his qurban, his udhiyah, his sacrifice? Does he do 3 separate for each household? Now he has a wife, a house, separate house for each 3 of the wives, and they have kids every single house. Does he do 1 sacrifice or does he do 3 in this case? The answer is you can do 1, but if someone wants to do 3, of course that's
better,
preferred and better view if you can do that also.
Allah ta'ala. تفضل شيخ.
Is it allowed to?
Can you speak Arabic?
No.
غفر الله لك.
Is it allowed to distribute meats non-Muslim people?
يجوز أن تعطي غير المسلمين منها، يجوز هدية تعطي غير المسلمين يجوز، لكن ليسوا يعني ليسوا هم فقط من تعطي. سؤال جميل. نحن هنا نعيش بين مسلمين وغير مسلمين، قد يكون جار غير مسلم، لا تعطيه؟ لا أعطيه هدية، هذه هدية تعطيه من باب الدعوة إلى الله عز وجل والأخلاق الطيبة، تعطيه، لكن يجب أن تعطي غيره من المسلمين، هذا مهم جدا.
So the question is, are we allowed to give from the meat to non-Muslims? The answer the Shaykh is telling us, especially this is very important because we are living in a country where a lot of non-Muslims live. So the answer is, of course, it is allowed for you to give it to the non-Muslims as a gift. However, you have to also give, you cannot only give to non-Muslims. Yes, you can give to non-Muslims as a gift, but you must also give to some, at least some of the Muslims. Because of course, when you give it, as an example, you have a neighbor that is a non-Muslim person. And when you've done the sacrifice, would you not give it to him just because he's non-Muslim? No, the answer is, you do give it to him because he's your neighbor, you give it to him as a gift, but keeping in your mind that you're giving to other people. Because you giving to the non-Muslim, it's you showing good akhlaq, and perhaps it could be a way of inviting them towards Islam.
تفضل.
Okay, salam.
The same question was the other brother asked, a bit lengthier. I asked this question of 1 sheep for the family, but we back from India, we used to cut 1 per 1 person. So I asked the Sheikh in India as well, they said no, it has to be 1 per 1 person, but in here they say 1 per family. So what about if they get 7th portion in cow or camel? Is the 1 portion for family or 1 portion for 1 person? You know what I mean? So it is like why the India follow this 1 per 1 person because of Hanifa madhab or?
Yes. شوي.
هو يسأل أن وسأل بعض العلماء في الهند، وحتى لما يعني كان في الهند العمل هنا يقول أن كل واحد يفعل أضحية. يعني في الأهل الابن والأب والزوج كلهم يفعل